Hi everyone, it's Wade here, and I'm just making obviously my Thursday spot video. I'm whispering because it's actually 12 o'clock, and also I'm about to go to bed, so I just need to wrap this up as quick as I can. This week's question comes from a man called Shuzulu, and the question basically asks, if there is one pagan who believes the god and goddess as real beings, physical beings, and another pagan views them as a more symbolic idea, how do we feel about that, and challenge that kind of contrast between the two? I think the main thing that we need to stress here, and that I've seen throughout the videos in the week already, is the fact that pagans generally are accepting of anybody's varied beliefs. Like Eric said yesterday, a lot of religions like Wicca, for example, knowing from my own experience, is that there is such a vast, it's just really acknowledging that people are very different and they have very different thought patterns, and there is no specific need for people to believe a specific way, because we acknowledge that the human mind is going to have its own perceptions of life, and you can see that in everybody's behaviour, human behaviour on its own. So when it comes to religion, we don't see that it should be any different. Everybody has their own visuals, their own interpretations of different things, not just religion. And so when it comes to religion, paganism is very accepting in the fact that people do believe completely different ways, and we as a community don't discriminate against people for simply not believing completely in a set god and goddess, for example. So I suppose what I'm trying to say is basically just what Cara and Eric have said, really, when it comes down to two varying beliefs on the god and goddess being a symbol as opposed to actual physical beings. I personally don't have any problem with either of those. I allow people to believe that they want, and if they want to call themselves pagan, if they want to call themselves whatever label they wish to label themselves as, is totally up to them. Whether they actually fit the criteria that many people seem to think that fits that label is totally down to the person who selects to put themselves under that branch. I don't personally think we should discriminate against people who choose to live their life a certain way and choose to believe a certain thing simply because we don't agree with the things they have to say. Also, on the question of, is it disrespectful to the god and goddess? Totally, of course it isn't. At the end of the day, like Cara said, I think she said this, I might just be assuming this, I think she said that if the god and goddess wanted us to believe in them specifically and only them, and I had a problem with us not having varied views on that, I think that we would definitely obviously see them making themselves come forth. I think what I believe is that the god and goddess present themselves to each and every person in a different way, and that's why we have many different religions. And the reason behind that is because people are brought up in different cultures, and therefore, as we see in communication and language barriers, you have to communicate with certain people from different cultures in a different way, and so the god and goddess find this different way to communicate with, sorry that was my phone, to communicate with people in the world. And that's why we have so many different religions, different beliefs, because everybody understands and is communicated to in a different way. And the only way I can back that up is by saying we can see for ourselves that people communicate in different ways from different cultures and believe different things, and my theory behind that is simply because the way they are brought up, the way they have evolved, has caused them to communicate in a certain way, and that is how they perceive life, and that's how they perceive the god and goddess, or gods, or no gods at all, and that's the way that they live their life. And at the end of the day, that is my view, that's my perspective. So hopefully that hasn't been a really awful video, because I'm trying to get to bed, but I hope that answered your question in a decent light that really kind of gives my view on it. But yeah, so to everybody who's watching, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Hope you all had a brilliant Astara. I had a really busy day and never managed to do anything until this week. I really need to get to bed. I feel really ill. So I hope everybody is having a great week and has a great weekend, and I'll see you next week or the week after. I'm really not sure when the sub week falls. So yeah, blessed be.